Hi guys, Melon Man here. I am looking for a call today from I believe he is a trained naturopathic doctor. I believe. How you doing, Mr. Reese?
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, Kevin, awesome, awesome. Kevin W. Reese.
Yeah.
Sir, you are a nutritionist or a bio
Well, I have my PhD in holistic nutrition.
PhD in holistic nutrition.
Yep.
Nice.
And I study with Dr. Morse as well.
You studied with Dr. Morse.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
wow.
hmm
Wow.
I got stories.
Oh, so cool.
Yeah.
So
Is my
you
mic working okay?
pardon me?
Is my mic working okay?
That
Is it
mic is
coming through?
great, Kevin. Thank you for
Okay.
thanks for accommodating me today with some time to talk and share what you're doing. I kind of got bumped into you by a friend, just about I guess a
Oh,
couple of
hold
months
on. Hold
ago.
on one sec. I just lost you. Uh,
Can you see me?
hello, hello. Oh, you know why? Because it wants me to plug in headphones. That's why.
Oh, really?
My headphones are right over there. I'll be right back, okay?
Okay, cool,
All right.
cool. No problem, no problem. So I'll tell you, I just bumped into PhD Dr. Kevin Reese through a friend of a friend. Somebody sent me a link, and I recognized that he was not too far away. I think, like he's in New York. He's in New York, I believe. So I reached out to him right away, knowing that there was a PhD in holistic nutrition in the Eastern Hemisphere, Eastern um, time zone, because it's so hard to speak to people that are on different time zones all over the world. Great that I got a contact with a local PhD. Wow, fantastic, sir. Where are you living in New York?
Hold on. Hello?
Can you hear me?
I can now. Yep.
Okay, great.
Go.
Sir, where do you live?
I'm in Hartford, Connecticut.
Hartford, Connecticut.
Yep.
Hmm. Cool, man. You know, it's so awesome that you're in my time zone.
Okay.
It's so hard to find authority that's in your world.
Are you in you're in
Toronto.
Canada, right? Toronto. Okay. Nice.
Yes. So I'm doing fitness and wellness. I'm a personal trainer, health coach, weight loss expert,
I saw.
online training coach.
And you're experimenting with the breatharian world.
Yes, I'm experimenting with the breatharian world. I'm speaking at the World Pranic Festival in June.
Wow. Very cool.
Yeah,
Very cool.
I'm
That
excited
comes up
about that.
that topic comes up on my podcast every now and again, for sure.
You have a podcast.
I do, yeah. It's
Wow,
called
could
In.
I get onto your podcast?
You could. Yes, you can.
Wow.
Look at that. We're trading already. You know,
Well, you
you
know
got
what?
the you got the mangoes. I got the oranges. Let's trade.
Because that's the way, isn't it? Mangoes and oranges.
That's right. That's right, man.
But nobody knows that.
Nobody knows that.
And I
Well,
haven't
we know
spoken
that.
to you before, Dr. Reese. I've never spoken with you before.
Yep.
However, I'm sure as this conversation continues, we're going to be answering each other's questions, finishing each other's sentences, because we're talking about the same thing, aren't we?
Yeah, very much so.
And we already know that because there is only one thing, isn't there?
Sure. Energy.
There we go. There we go. So you like to refer to it as energy.
Electrons, electricity, vibrations, the Tao, the Brahman, universe, whatever.
The Buddha,
Sure. Whatever.
Jesus,
Yeah.
Muhammad,
Sure. Kingdom of heaven.
Kingdom of Heaven, Christ consciousness,
Yeah. Yeah.
unity consciousness, the
We
source, the
yeah.
one and only.
Yeah. The formless substance.
The giant within, right?
Yeah. Yeah, man.
So this is it. We can use all kinds of different words. It doesn't matter.
That's right.
We're talking about the world of healing, the self, and
Yep.
what the body does itself.
Right. Yep.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
That it is. That it is.
So, well, I mean, can you share, I guess, I mean, your experience with Dr. Morse? You went to
Mm.
school there.
Yeah.
You spent
Yeah.
some time with him.
I went in 2012,
Yep.
and it, it was right after I came back from an ashram here in New York where I met a wandering mystic. And so the timing was just unbelievable, the synchronicity of it. I walk in to train with this gray-haired guy who I'd been watching his videos and whatnot. I had my own health practice. I had about 4 clients at the time. I was new, and I walk in and I'm learning the lymphatic system and I'm learning all this beautiful stuff. And then he name dropped Paul Twitchell, and I had just read a Paul Twitchell book. And so I yelled out from the back of the class. I was like, I forgot what I said. I said a name of one of the Ekankar leaders, and he was like, "Ooh!" Like, so we formed like a connection there, and then he would take breaks, and then I would go to the front of the class and talk with him. A lot of people were scared to go talk with him. They just wanted their picture taken. I wanted to talk. And I went up there and we were talking, and I was like, so Dr. Morse, what do you know about this soul stuff, this leaving the body stuff? And he looks at me with those crystal blue eyes and he says, man, I can't wait to die. I'm like, what? I'm like, I had never heard anybody say that before that wasn't suicidal. He said it with joy. He's like, yeah, man. He's like, I've seen it. I've seen it all. I've seen the 1,000-petal lotus, and it's beautiful. And he's like, the only reason I'm here is because I got to teach people health, but otherwise. And I was just like, wow. And we
How
had
old's
some
Dr.
really,
Morris? How old's Dr. Morris?
he's like 70 now, but he was like 62 at the time.
And
At the time.
he's been healing people naturally for 40 plus years.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. But what a lot of people don't know is that he's been into the spirituality even longer than the healing. And that came first for him, if I'm not mistaken.
Spirituality was his origin.
It really was. He was into Paul Twitchell. That was his, let's use the word, guru.
I'm not familiar with Paul Twitchell. Paul,
Yeah.
say it again, please.
Paul Twitchell was he was an American guru, if you will. one of the rare American gurus, because usually they're Indian or Chinese or Japanese. And Paul Twitchell mapped out the soul worlds, and he taught people how to soul travel, how to leave the
Like,
body.
is in 7 levels of soul worlds? Is there 7 levels?
I think there's more than that.
As above, so below. There's supposed to be 7,
Yeah.
and then 7 levels within each level.
Yeah, there's 7 in us, 7 bodies.
Okay, cool. That's very interesting. Wow.
Yeah.
So
So
this is
Dr. Morse is into all that. And so he was a really good resource to talk to.
so I'm just
It's
aligning that with Hermetic principles. Those are some
it,
Hermetic
oh
teachings.
yeah.
I'm not sure if you're familiar with Hermetic principles.
Yeah, it all matches up. But, the truth is the truth, right?
Right.
And I just reread a Paul Twitchell book just a week ago just to refresh myself, because I had learned so much from 2012. Buddhism and certain gurus and Kabbalah and all that type of stuff, and it
Kabbalah.
just it
Love the
all
Kabbalah.
it all comes back to the same truth. It's just Paul Twitchell was skipping. He was skipping all the. He was skipping all the beginner stuff,
The
and he was
classical
just
stuff.
yeah. He was just saying, look, you can leave your body at will,
Hmm.
and you can explore, and there's masters that'll help you. And that turned out being this thing called Ekankar. It's called Ekankar.
Ekankar.
Yeah, that's what it's called, Ekankar. Yeah.
Hmm. So it's like a following. It's like an understanding.
Yeah, they created it as a religion
A
to
religion.
protect it. Yeah, an ancient religion.
Yeah. Shoot.
I'm not a follower of it or anything, but I do have a few Paul Twitchell books, and they're fun to read.
So now what are you doing now? Like, you help people heal their lives, like Dr. Morris. Like, you have consults with people.
I used to. I did that for 8 years, seeing it all type thing, and it didn't take long for me to kind of feel stagnant, in the sense of I'm a creator. I've always been a creative person. So I felt like I wasn't following my talent, and I felt like I was sort of forcing it, being a straight up practitioner. And so that's when I started creating Sunlight Sunny, the children's health hero, which I have the book here. And so I wrapped up my last client in 2018, and I started a nonprofit organization based on Sunlight Sunny and helping children eat fruits and vegetables. And this gives me an opportunity to be creative, and I've created a universe. It's Sunny, and there's other characters, and of course there's a villain called Mr. Junkerson.
How cool is
and
that?
and so I've left the clientele business alone. I feel like I've done it. I have the experience, and I've written 5 books. So if anybody wanted to get better and they believed in me, then they could go on Amazon and get the books. And I have webinars on my website
So
and stuff
someone
like that.
shared something, I think, about the Sunlight Sunny, right?
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah,
how I
Dr.
got connected
Morse.
with you.
Yeah, but Dr. Morse actually promoted it, which was a very nice surprise for him to do that. And he was really into it. He really liked Mr. Junkerson, though, the Darth Vader of the story, if you will. Uh, that's Mr. Junkerson right here.
Money,
So
greed,
he's
corporate,
the corporate monster
the corporate monster.
who he wants everyone to eat the junk food, and he puts chemicals in the
Yeah.
cookies and the cake and all that. Because
Yeah.
my thing is this, John, is that in my 8 years helping people and doing seminars and whatnot, it's very hard to get people on fruit. I mean, unless it's an emergency. And so I've realized that, you know, people need a transition. And if we can just get people eating more fruits and vegetables and less junk, that's going to improve their lives, and they won't even, you know, realize they're making that big of a change until it hits them. And so that's what something like this is for. It's a device, just like Santa Claus is a device. You
We all
know,
have a
just
way. We all have our way. We all have our way
you're
of chipping
right.
away at this big, giant corporate kind of monster. And not to make it into a bad guy, because, you know, we don't really even want to make it be about fighting this and fighting that, because that doesn't
Yeah,
win anything either. You
right.
know, it's like we gotta like come to a point where we go like, this is what's going on.
Yeah,
This is what it is. But
yeah.
we have the choice to wake up
We do.
and make a change.
We do.
Like, stop fighting anything,
Mm-hmm.
because fighting doesn't win.
Right.
Just,
No, fighting doesn't win. It's resistance. And that's why, you know, no disrespect to the people out there sort of protesting and stuff. But you know, it just, that's such an abundance of energy being wasted in a way. You know, there's a lot of vegan protesters and stuff. And
and I guess that's their way. You know, like everyone's
yeah,
got their way, and I don't want to be critical about anybody's way.
right.
You know, I'm
But
just gonna.
I think we need to head towards the light, man.
That's
And
right. You
and
know,
we
we
need
all need to rise up, right?
and
As
we
individuals,
we need to be the example. We need to be
we
the
need to be
example.
the example. Like each one needs to lead by example,
Correct. Be
but
be be a role model.
loving by loving themselves,
Yes.
truly loving themselves,
And
not
loving everything to
loving everything,
the trees and the flowers.
the
But
animals, and
but fighting is, it's exhausting, and you know,
the
even a dog.
war. This is a war mentality. This is what we've been
Yes.
built on. Like, just get into
Yeah.
that. Well, you forget it. Like, get out of the war thing. Get out of the liberal, conservative, black, white thing. Get out of all of that yin yang duality shit. And
That's
let's
right.
get into a unity consciousness where we are a human race. It's a
Correct.
collective consciousness. It's a
To
one entity, a one being.
transcend.
It all comes from the field and comes to
Mhm.
manifest here in 3D reality.
Yeah,
All of it comes here, and we're a part of that.
that's right.
We're not
Creation.
against this part or that part, or we're not loving this part and not loving that part, and this part is good and that part's not good. That's not love.
Right.
Love is
Right.
giving and receiving in every single moment, in
Being
every single
selfless.
circumstance.
Hmm.
And that's how we love our circumstance and our lives and ourselves.
Right.
Each
You got
one
it.
must do that. Each one has to do that job of self-awareness and know themselves and come into their light and come into their best expression and come into their health. That's a choice. But
That's
nobody
right.
can make somebody do that. A
No.
person needs to intend it into their reality.
Hmm.
They must choose it.
That's right. Absolutely. Be selfless. And, you know, everyone has the opportunity to wake up, to have that self-realization, whether, you know, not just with food, but, you know, that the your inner core, you know, Realize that we are not the body, we are not the thoughts, we are not the emotions. We
Right.
are formless, we are timeless, we are
Infinite.
deathless.
Yes.
And so the food is, that's our outer life, because obviously electrons don't need food. um, so, and that would lead into one of your topics, which is breatharianism, right? I see you talking about that quite a bit.
Yeah,
So,
well, this is it. Like you said, I mean, if you go deeper to the cellular level, if you go
mhm,
deeper to the molecular level, if you go
mhm,
deeper to the atomic level, if you go deeper to the particulate level, you start
mhm,
talking about protons and electrons, and the electrons are spinning around an orbit
mhm.
indefinitely.
We are electricity, man. That's why we can shock each other, right? If we rub up against a rug, we, oh,
We
you
carry a
know,
current. We're electromagnetic.
that's right. And we got metal inside of us, right? Iron, and so we can conduct. We can conduct
And connect.
and connect.
Connect
Yeah,
with our inner world and our outer world because the energy goes between the two poles, to and from.
that's right. And our inner and our outer is bridged together by our breathing.
As above, so below. The
Hmm.
energy within is expressed without. If I have the right energy within me, I will express the right energy around me.
Right, right. So the breathing is so important. And, I mean, even someone with high blood pressure could do a breathing exercises and bring their blood pressure down on the spot. You know, breathing is everything. We can go without food and water for long periods of time, but we can't go without breathing at all. We're dead in 3 minutes. Is it
Two,
three
three
minutes?
minutes. So, what's the
Yeah,
real leader here?
that's right.
It's
That's
the
right.
breath. And when we can sustain ourselves on nothing but the breath, then we're getting our energy from something else other than
That's right.
food or drug or sex or
Hmm.
shopping or a certain weight or a certain number in my bank account.
Right.
I'm
That's
getting the
correct.
energy not from a role that I'm playing, not from an
That's right.
identity, from an ego, from a construct, from a thought,
Hmm.
but from a beingness that is beyond thought.
That's right. That's right. We're on the same wavelength, my friend. I, one of the best teachers of all this is a gentleman by the name of Hilton Hotima.
Yes,
So, if anyone's interested, that's the guy to read, in my opinion.
that's the guy to read. And
Oh,
he's
yeah.
got the collected data from doctors from the turn of the last century and before
Yeah.
that
He's also
demonstrate the evidence.
he's also the guy that inspired Dr. Morse to do 6 months of oranges.
No way.
Yeah, man.
Oh
And
my
so
gosh.
Hilton Hotima in my office, which I'm not going to point the camera, but right here I have my little library, and it's sectioned off into natural health and spirituality. I have my Hilton Hotima books on the spirituality side, not the health side, because Hilton Hotima was actually a mystic. And so what he did was he went beyond what Arnold Ehret was teaching, beyond what, Herbert Shelton was teaching, or, any of these guys from the 1800s, Dr. Tilden, Dr. Isaac Jennings. Hilton Hotima was on another level because he took that natural health and he took the spirituality, the electrons, the breathing, the inner, the outer worlds, and he put it all together. And his greatest work, I think, is Man's Higher Consciousness. That's the name of the book. And that book is a must have for anyone out there, must have on every level, even all the way down to You and I are in the Northeast. We have cold, we have snow. We got to start cracking our windows open even when there's snow outside a little bit, because we need that air. And that's something Hotima taught, is that a lot of people die in the wintertime because they're closing their windows and they're relying on their heat, and we're putting out carbon dioxide by breathing, and then we're breathing it back in. We need fresh air to circulate the house. So even if you open your window for an hour a
Get
day,
outside,
get outside
look
as
into the
well.
sunlight in the morning, look
Yeah.
into the sunlight at the end of the day, this eastern north hemisphere. You
Yeah.
guys, all of us in New York and Chicago and Boston and Buffalo and Toronto and Montreal and Quebec, right?
Hmm.
Out east and out west. Look into the sun.
That's right. Eat the sunlight, as I call it. And that, hey, look, Sunny is the son of the sun. So, that's where the concept comes from. So he can create the fruits and the vegetables with the magic sunlight,
The
which creates
sunlight
health.
creates the fruits and the vegetables. We're eating the sun. That's how
That's
we
right.
heal our bodies, is from the light of the sun and the physical earth, the 3D Pachamama. We got to connect with the earth.
Mm,
We got to
no
marry
doubt.
these two energies.
That's right.
We're electromagnetic beings, beings of electricity and light,
That's
beings
right.
of material, magnetism,
And it,
ions.
and if nobody understands that now, they sure will when their breathing stops and they die. They're going to
Everyone
be.
will understand it sometime.
That's the event. That's the event that makes people go, "Oh, whoa, okay." So I think, I talk about this on my podcast often. Death comes up quite a bit. And it's the most important event of our lives. And we should prepare for it. Not in a gloom and doom type of way, but just understand what it is. Because once you understand what it is, then you can live better too. Right? Because
Begin with
death
the
is
end in
actually,
mind. Begin with the end in mind. How would you want this to be finished up, and be that?
yeah,
How would
death
you
is
want this
actually a
to be
part of
finished
life.
up? Yeah. How would you want this to be finished up? Getting a vision of what you'd like to see it all play out as
Yeah.
is important for fulfilling your prophecy.
Yeah.
What do you want at the end of this whole thing to feel like? What do you want this ride to be? What do you want your mark to be? What do you want to leave? What do you
Yes.
want to show your kids? What do you want your family to say and think? What do you want your friends and the other beings on this planet to be like when you're gone?
Yeah, I think one of our responsibilities is leaving the world better than how you found it. And now
Isn't
that
that
might
the
just,
isn't that the rule?
yeah. Now that may, some people don't have the reach that other people do. Like we're recording a podcast right now on the World Wide Web, but some people are computer literate. They don't even know how to use a computer. So there's different levels to that. Some people, it might be just their family. It could be a grandmother who has 12 grandkids and takes care of them. And that's her way of making the world better. And then other people have bigger platforms like we're doing right now, or Dr. Morse, or someone like Oprah Winfrey, who has a massive platform. And she does her best, she does her best. She's, you got to give her some credit. So it's just, we all have different platforms, and hopefully people don't get caught up in trying to be rich and famous, because God doesn't want your autograph.
And at the same time, there's nothing wrong with striving for your abundance, because there's nothing negative about abundance either. And
Sure.
so we can embrace abundance, or we can embrace things as they are. And it's not that one's right or one's wrong, but it's all choice. And choice is human power.
Free will.
Free will.
Free
Because
will.
there's two forces. There's the force of will, and there's the force of creative feminine energy, the womb, the creative energy. And we need the two forces, the force of will, one spirit force, masculinity, and one spirit force, creativity, feminine.
The yin and the yang.
Yes, the two forces. The will has to grasp that creative force and point it in a certain direction. They both need each other.
Yeah, right.
The creative force can't direct and create in the right place unless the will steers it there. So we need both, and we need to learn how to navigate and be and marry the two forces, because before there was two, there was one unity consciousness in the field. And from the field, it divided from the monad, the one single pointedness, to the dual, to the two pointedness. That's the masculine and the feminine. That is the earth and the sun. And those two forces make a line. And from there, the field could come into two forces, two bits, and then a third point could be made. And the first three-dimensional being, the triangle, can take on 3 dimensions. So the third bit is the triad, the triangle. That is the human. So we got the earth and the sun, and the human is the being, the electromagnetic beam between sun and earth that marries the two forces together to be one, to unite as a self-perpetuating battery. That is perfect health.
Right.
That is your best expression, your highest health.
Right on, yeah. Yeah, man. Isn't it beautiful that, the way is the way and the truth is the truth, and every religion and every guru, and it's all the same. It's all the same. It's just different interpretations.
It all comes from the same source. It all comes from the natural laws. There's natural laws that govern this universe and this reality. There's natural laws. They are there. They're in the Kabbalah. They're in the Hermetic principles. They're in sacred geometry. They're in mathematics. They're in the quantum mechanics. It's been out there in the modern world since 1919. It was on the mathematics with the light and Bohr and Einstein and Planck. And they were talking about the double slit. And they were talking about the electron manifesting whatever the study individual wanted it to find. If they were looking for particle, then the electron would be particle. And if they were looking for wave, then the electron would be wave. So the intention of the person that's conducting the study affects the result. So no study can be unbiased. And so to follow the medical community that shows a bunch of study that says this is the way to health because of this study, because of this education, that this has more value than something else. Because there's nothing more valuable than the source that's within each and every single one of us.
Correct.
And there's nothing more knowing than the all-knowing. And the all-knowing has always been here. And so has health.
Right on. So how many people that you've come across put it all together and heal themselves up?
None.
Just like that, none. How many
have you come across?
Well, I've helped a bunch of people heal up, but sometimes 2 years later they're back because
they go back. They go back. People need to make a serious change, and the only way a serious change can happen is if you do something different.
That's right.
Now, if you can keep managing your problem and your circumstances with the same energy, you'll get the same result. So if you meet your problem with the same energy that created it, then you will not be able to change it. You've got to meet that problem with a different creative energy. So if you made that problem with the creative energy of mind, you'd have to use something of a higher nature in order to change it or come from a different perspective. So you couldn't change it by thinking about it, because what you think about a problem manifests the problem. In order to change it, you'd have to think about what you want. You'd have to intend health into your life. You'd have to think about health.
I used to tell clients all the time, you can't be afraid to be a unicorn, because you're gonna go to your family picnic, you're gonna stand out, you're gonna feel like an outcast because you know the best route is to eat fruit and everyone else is eating chicken wings and ice cream.
They can't do that.
They have trouble with it.
They can't do that when they're surrounded by that. Like, I'm surrounded by that in my family, and I see the pressure of that.
Yeah.
I see what that does, and I know how much it ostracizes you to not be doing what everybody else is doing and everybody saying funny things about you.
Right.
Nobody can stand it. The world doesn't allow us to heal.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
It picks you apart.
It's social engineering, man. Socially engineered to.
But you can't allow other people to pick you apart.
No.
You have to endure anyways. You have to get the strength within. You have to find it. And you know what? Unfortunately, when you get broken by something and you have no choice but to pull yourself back together, that's how you find the way. And you realize that, you know what? Even when everybody else is saying this about me, I know this about me. I know I'm a being of light and love. And I know when everybody else is saying this or that about me, that I can go in my bedroom and I can go in my bed and I can be with that light and love.
Right.
That there's no one else for me to turn to but that light and that love, and that I will express first and foremost that light and love every single day and every single moment.
Right, right.
Because if I do, then I'll be being my best me.
Yeah.
That's meeting each moment with my very best me, with my stillness, not my thought, but my being. My being isn't thinking. Beingness, consciousness, more consciousness in my day, more day in my consciousness.
Awareness.
More life in my consciousness, more day in my life, more observation of my life, more loving my life, more embracing the shadow, more standing in the cold.
So, John, are you fruitarian? Are you all fruit?
Sometimes, and then sometimes I'm not even eating.
How long do you go without?
Right now, I'm not putting any force. For 6 months of this year, I put a real force. I was saying I was not eating in the week. I'm only eating on the weekend. And I started that force, and that force is very valuable. It's good to say I'm eating once a day or I'm eating twice a day, and create a boundary for yourself and live within it, because it's by creating boundaries and living within them that we learn.
Creating a structure.
It's valuable. But then once you get beyond that, you come to the point where it's no longer about fasting. When you recognize the being within, you become aware of your consciousness so well that you know it. So you can feel your consciousness within you. There's another sense develops, a screen. The eyes, the ears, the nose, the mouth, the feeling. These are the sense doors. There's 5 of them. The consciousness is the 6th one. Once that door is open, once the being becomes that detoxified, that cleansed, that purified in thought, word, habit, behavior, alignment of the being happens and another sense is realized. Perfect health is in unity within you. You are in love with you and your life. You are expressing your light fully. You don't need anything any longer. You can choose to relax and indulge if you like, but it doesn't own you anymore. When you have to eat every day, then food is your slavery.
Right.
When you've gone beyond food, then you have no master. You are your own master, self-mastery.
Unattached. So what's the longest you've gone with no food?
I've gone 9 or 10 days without eating solid food. I've just done liquid foods. I've done dry fast for 4 or 5 days, like without food and water. So I know these things are possible, but I'm not forcing these things anymore, because what I learned from my coach and my mentor, who can do it much better and longer than me, is that it becomes not to be about pushing away, because when you're resisting, what you resist persists. I'm holding on to a rock of energy, magnetic energy. You know, what you resist persists. So if you push away the food, then you empower the food. When you embrace the energy, you focus on the energy, then the energy grows. When you focus on the resistance, then you empower the food over you. So when you become aware of this sixth sense, when this gear opens up, then you can open and you can channel from within. So it no longer comes about the food. So I don't really talk about the food that much.
I see.
Because it's not really about the food. It's about embracing. It's about loving. It's about connecting. And we can do this by changing our minds. It's a fasting of mind and food, both ends. Because on one end, I'm spirit, and on one end, I'm body. And this end is food, and this end is thought. And I need to fast the thought to come to quietness, and I need to fast the food to come to physical quietness within the body. Stillness on both sides. It's fasting on both ends. It's fasting is the way to come to the center. We need to learn how to find more in less. We need to how to embrace the rain. We need to stand in the cold. More is less.
Right on.
That is the unity consciousness. Once we have nothing but that, we have everything. Because that is everything. More is less. Less is more. Do you see?
That's right. That's right.
Both yin and yang. Masculine and feminine. Two energies here. Brought together in the human being as the triad. The triangle. The first conceptual three-dimensional space. Taken from the infinite space. The one. The monad. The single-pointedness.
Right on. Well said, man.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, I've done quite a bit of food vacations in my day. Liquids are people don't understand. They could be a liquidarian.
Switch to liquidarian.
And go on throughout their day with no problems whatsoever, man.
You could just get a juicer and you can mix up juice. Apples and pears, cabbage and celery, cucumbers, carrots and beets, ginger and turmeric. You can make up your own thing and you could live on that and live so much more vibrantly than you are trying to eat your proteins and your vitamins and your minerals and get all of this stuff that you think you need that's actually creating arthritis, pain, diabetes, and whatnot within your body. Sugar is not your enemy. It's been made out to be, and you've been told that you can be saved by protein and fat.
Correct. When you're on liquids, do you still exercise?
You know what? So funny. have a real interesting thing with relationship with exercise because I've been a professional bodybuilder and a competitor at the international level. There's two gears here as well too.
Mm.
Exercise is so valuable for those that have been inactive. About 15% of the population are the active type. About 10 to 15% of the population really do go to the gym consistently and really go for it. And you know what? Those people, I was one of them, need to slow down to heal.
Yep.
They need to go from that heavy weightlifting stuff to a more inner connection.
Mm.
And those that have the 85% that have been inactive for their most bit of their life, they need to get active. So both need to come to conscious exercise. It's not about tearing down the muscles and building up this muscle mass. We don't need to be more than we are. We are enough for our lives. I've chased that wagon, and I know being bigger is not happier.
Right.
I was Mr. North America.
Wow.
I've been 80 pounds bigger, and I was no happier then.
Wow. That takes discipline, though.
That takes a little bit of a craziness inside of your head.
An obsession, right?
An obsession. Bring yourself to balance and stillness.
Yeah. And
The middle way.
If the middle way, if somebody out there did want to be cut with abs and all that, do you tell them that you can do that on fruit and some juices?
Vegan. If you want to be a bodybuilder, go vegan bodybuilding. But if you just want to be your best, you don't need to be a vegan bodybuilder. Then just go with fruits and veg, man. And if you can go to juice or fasting of 1, 2, 3 days a week, bingo, you're golden.
So you're saying liquids with 1 or 2 days of just water?
Sure. Awesome.
And push-ups and stuff like that?
A little bit of push-ups, a little bit of pull-ups if you want, yoga, stretching, meditation, a little bit of dumbbell exercise. I got all the stuff here. A little bit of light weights. You don't need a lot. It's not about a whole bunch.
225s?
25s tops. 220s, 215s, 210s.
Wow.
Tune in. Join in with me. We work out 10 times a day. Join in with me.
So are you familiar with Genesis Sunfire?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, when he was he went fruitarian to liquidarian and then eventually the breatharian. And he was also a fitness guy. And he used to go on interviews and say, it's not about the food, it's about the exercise. If you tone your muscle, the food isn't what builds the muscle. It's the push-ups. It's it's the pull-ups. It's
so then
the
he still said it was something outside of the self.
Yeah.
So then he wasn't living the truth.
Maybe, I don't know.
So then he broke.
He's not a breatharian anymore.
Because he wasn't telling the truth.
Okay. Maybe, I don't know.
Because he was broken.
You think so, huh?
Well, this is the thing. If we express the light that is within us, it's continuous, it's infinite.
Right.
It doesn't run out.
Right.
It's an electron. It always goes around the nucleus.
Right.
Indefinitely.
It's always moving.
Indefinitely.
It's always moving and vibrating.
Right. So if it's true, it won't end.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Right.
Right on, man. So the health advice for people is get to liquids, do some push-ups, some pull-ups, light weights, just simple stuff to tone yourself.
If you want some help, reach out. I'm happy to talk with you. I'm happy to talk with you about it if you want some help. There's a lot of people in our community. There's PhDs that are recognizing this. There's people that have been doing this for a lifetime, Dr. Morse. They're in our circle. They're around us. There's people that know how to change people's lives. There's people that are trying to change people's lives. The consciousness is out there. You can find it. You got to do a little bit of digging. But there is a power that's within each and every single one of us. And it's a power to choose.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We're all enlightened. We just got to clean the glass so the light can get in. That's really what it is, man. We all have the same power. We're all made of the same stuff.
There we go. Thank you so much, Dr. Kevin Reese. What a lesson today to be able to spend the afternoon with you, man. Thanks for all the inspiration, brother.
Oh, man, thank you. And, if you send me the audio of this recording, I will put it on my podcast as an episode.
Awesome. I'm going to send you this link so that we can share it, and hopefully we can connect again. And I'd be very happy next time to be on your podcast if you'd let me.
Sure thing.
Awesome.
Inner Peace with Dr. Reese. Inner Peace with Dr. Reese on Spotify.
Inner Peace with Dr. Reese. I want to be on Inner Peace with Dr. Reese.
It's not my fault it rhymes. It's not my fault. So
I want to rhyme with you, man.
Right on, man. We'll rhyme together.
Okay, brother. Thank you.
Thank you. Peace.